It's that Super Bowl, no shame on the flow. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's that.
In the last class, we were discussing a basic Java program, and we have discussed how the system.out.println statement can be used in a different ways. So, in today's class, we are going to discuss a basic part of a programming, that is a variable. We have already discussed. So means we have already seen an example in the last class how the variables can be used, and how the values of a variable can be substituted in a system.out.println statement. But we will just see some theoretical aspects of a variables, right? So a variable is the basic unit of a storage in a Java program. Not only in a Java program, in any of other programming languages also, whenever you are creating a variable, means the intention of creating a variable is to store some data in it. Okay. Then a variable is defined by the combination of an identifier. See, whenever you are reading a statement, have a small imagination. See, whenever you are saying a variable, what example can you get in your mind? Example, something like int a, right? Int a is also a variable declaration, right? A is nothing but a variable in this case. You can have a statement something like int a is equal to 20, right? So this is also a normal variable declaration itself, where variable name is a and it has been assigned with a 10, right? Hope you can imagine what are the statements I am telling you. Okay. So now what we are saying is, this point says that a variable is defined. That means you are going to define that particular int a. So out of that particular int a, you are going to define a. A variable is defined by the combination of an identifier, right? A is nothing but identifier, a type, that is int, float, char, whatever the stuff you will be giving, and optional initializer. That means this is not mandatory that every time you need to initialize a variable, right? So it is up to you, and it is up to your requirement whether you want to initialize a variable initially or later in the program, right? So usually a variable will be defined by the combination of identifier, type, and an optional initializer, right? If you want to see the syntax, then this is how that will be written. First, you will be having a type identifier, either it is an int, float, or a character, whatever it is. Then you will be having a uh, identifier stuff. This part is identifier that will be assigned with the optional value. That means you can assign a value or may not assign a value. It is up to you, right? So 1 second, there is a small modification to be done. You will be having a type identifier. That means data type, or else let us just change the syntax a bit. Let us write something like makes a sense. First you will be having a data type. After a data type, identifier you will be having. After identifier, this particular whatever the thing you will be seeing in the bracket, this is for the optional in the sense either you can initialize, or if you don't want to initialize, you can escape this one, right? So first you will be giving a data type followed by the identifier, the name of identifier whatever you want to give. Then if you want to initialize, then you will be having a certain value for that, right? So this previously the syntax whatever it was showing is, it was with respect to a n number of a variable declaration. So I just felt like why to go with a n number of a variable declaration, so keep it as a simple. So this syntax just shows declaration of a one particular variable, right? Syntax, data type followed by identifier, optional if you want to initialize that one with the value, can be done, right? So few examples like this. You can write a int a comma b comma c. Here you are creating a three different variables of integer type, or you can during initialization it's during a declaration itself you can initialize with some values, right? So both these examples are creating integer variables, and this one is creating a byte. So byte z is equal to 22. Is it a valid value to be put into a byte? What is the range of a byte? Can we put a 22 into z?
Yes.
We can
Yes,
put,
sir.
because the range of a byte is a 8 bit in the sense it can
Sorry.
range from a minus 128 to plus 127, right? So 22
Yes,
is a
sir.
valid number that can be put into a byte. Okay, so this examples just shows like how to declare different types of variables, and you can initialize those things during a declaration itself, right? And the next important means this is another example. Here you are putting a value during a declaration itself. There might be a requirement where you want to put a value during a process of your program. That means in the last class we have seen c is equal to a plus b. If you remember, we have written a c is equal to a plus b. That means the value for a c will come after evaluating a and b itself, right? So that we will call it as a dynamic initialization. That means the value for a variable will be given during a process, right? And the value of a c will change based on the values of a and b, right? So dynamic in the sense during a program its value is going to change, right? So a simple example where we have taken a double a is equal to 3.0 and a b is equal to 4.0. Later we have calculated a c is equal to math dot square root of a square plus b square, right? So we are just calculating square root of a square plus b square that you are going to assign to a c, right? So as the value for a c will be coming during a process of a program, so this we will call it as a dynamic initialization, right? So in almost all the programs you will be doing these kind of operations. So just a name given for that dynamic initialization, not any big aspect to be remembered, right? So any so means I'll give you a 2 minutes, go through the program whatever has been displayed. If you have any questions you can ask. If you don't have a questions, then we'll see next topic with respect to variables. If anybody has got any questions with respect to the program displayed, you can ask a question. If you don't have a question, then we'll move further.
Why there is written math, sir?
Huh?
There is written double c equals to math square.
Huh?
Why there is math?
I just wanted to calculate a square root of a square plus b square. In a C language, if you want to find out a square root, you will directly write sqrt, right? So now here you cannot directly write it as a sqrt. You need to use the class. There is a class called a math. So in this particular math class, you will be having different functions. Like if you want to calculate a sine of some value, right? You need to write a math dot sine of. If you want to find out a cos of some value, then you need to write a math dot cos of, right? We will be explicitly telling that from the math class you take all these functions, right? So just keep in mind that you cannot directly write a function here sqrt directly. You are saying that take a sqrt function which is there from a math class. Okay, any mathematical functions, if you want to use any mathematical function like a sine, cos, tan, all those stuff, any mathematical function if you want to use in a Java, you will be writing math dot that particular function. Hope I
Okay,
made
sir.
clear. Yeah. Any other questions? Does this program works fine? No errors? See, every time I'll not be displaying a directly. There might be some twist in that particular display. There might be some errors in the program which I am displaying. Huh. Till now I didn't got any questions in the chat box. Let me have a means. Let me ask a question. Somewhere while we were discussing literals, we have said that if you want to make some value as a float, then you need to specify a literal, then you need to suffix that one with the f, if you remember. The somewhere we said that if you want to say some value as a double, then you need to specify the value and then the suffix need to be added with a d, if you remember. Kshitija Agarwal remembers. Yes. Huh. Now, are we giving a suffix as a d in this example, whatever you are seeing? And we have also seen that if you are not giving a float to point, say for example, if I am declaring float f is equal to 0.5, it was showing a error saying that incompatible types, if you remember, because I have shown all the different cases and I remember that I have shown those cases. Huh. So now this particular program, will it work fine or will it show error saying that there will be a type compatibility that this particular 3.0 has not been suffixed with a D? These are the things I'll say that you need to ask questions. Kashish, it will work fine. Yes, nice answer. Right. Let me justify one particular point clearly to you. No, sir, we don't need to give because we have already told that it is a double as a type. It works just fine. Yes. Whatever the answers you have given, the maximum answers are correct. I am saying the maximum answers are correct. Let us see few points. By default, I am repeating because this is important. By default, any fraction you take with respect to Java, this it will consider as double only. By default, any fraction you say in a Java, it will consider the value as a double itself. So if you are writing a float a is equal to 2.5 or 20.5, this will give you an error saying that this 20.5 is a double and you are trying to put that particular double into the float. So there will be a mismatch and gives you an error. Right? This will give you error. If a same thing has been specified explicitly saying that yes, this is not a double value, this is a float value, don't talk now, just copy this particular value to a, this will work fine. Right? Similarly, for a double, x is equal to some 2.5. If you are keeping it like this, then double has been assigned to a double, no problem, it works fine. Right? If you are writing a f, then it will say that idiot, you are saying a float and why you are putting into a double. Right? If you are explicitly saying a d or a capital D, no problem, it will say that okay, I know that you already declared a variable as a double, I can easily put that one, don't need to specify explicitly. Even if you are specifying explicitly also, it doesn't gives you any error. Question in a chat box. Sir, in changing order, can we change a double into a float? If you are changing order, see, when you are going from a lower order to higher order, there will not be any issue. It will easily take you to a lower order to higher order. But if you are changing the values from a higher order to lower order, then it cannot be done implicitly. Then there will, because there will be a loss of some information. In that case, you need to go with the explicit typecasting. That means explicitly you need to use a class, then you need to specify. You have a topic for a typecasting that we will see, right? Float can be transferred to a double without any problem, but a double cannot be transferred to a float. I think I have answered a Shaifullah's question. Ruby Kumari question. So for only float, we have to mention F. See, if you are declaring it as a float, yes, obviously you have to mention it as a F. Yes, your thinking is correct, Ruby. Only for a float, you have to specify F. For a double, it is not mandatory. Specifying a D is not mandatory, but specifying a F is a mandatory when you are working with a float. Ruby Kumari has made my complete discussion in a one statement. Thanks for that shortcut, Ruby. Can you give me one example of a low change and a high? Shaifullah. We need to go back with the number of bits, bytes, all those stuff. Not to go with that. Let us see. Simple. Int is a bigger one or float is a bigger value? Obviously, float is a bigger value, right? Again, you just imagine a concept of a container, something like this. Kushal, but sir, when a float is a default to F is I didn't say float is a default. I said default is a double. Whenever you are talking about some fraction, it will consider it as a double. In this case, if you are writing this particular statement, then you are assigning double to float. Yeah, that is what we are saying. D is not mandatory. But if you are writing a D, no problem. It doesn't say anything. Shaifullah, answer for your question is here itself. That means whether this particular 20.5 is a bigger value, that means a double data type, correct? When you are putting a double data type into a float we are saying like when compared to a double, this is a small, right? When you are putting a higher value into a lower data type, explicitly you are specifying saying that don't consider it as a bigger value, consider it as a float only. Hope I made sense. Example, if you want in a reverse direction, say for example, I will write something like float some s is equal to 10. I have not written as a fraction, I just wrote it as a 10, right? Here I need to specify it as a float explicitly, so I have to write it as a f, but the number I have given as a whole number, right? So in this case, it will not consider this as a normal integer, rather it will consider as a 10.0000, right? So even though you have attached a integer number, but data type was a float, so it is putting the exact value as a 10 point some zeros. Did I answer your question, Shaif? Yes, sir, got it. Okay, shall we proceed further? I think now there should not be any there should not be any doubts with respect to this particular program, right? So it is not mandatory to specify a D over here. You can you can miss that particular D. Okay, so this is a simple program. which is calculating hypotenuse is. Okay, so this is dynamic initialization. Dynamic initialization in the sense when a value for the variable has been assigned during a program. That is a dynamic initialization. Clear? Yes. The next thing which we need to discuss with respect to our variables is scope and lifetime of variables. Okay, so before we see the different points, let us just have a discussion with respect to what is a scope and what is a lifetime. Scope is nothing but till what place the things will be available, right? You have a declared a variable at some point. That particular variable, whether it is visible throughout a program or it is visible to only one part of a program, whether it is visible to only one block of a program, that defines a scope and a lifetime, right? So lifetime in the sense where the variable starts and where it ends, right? Where it loses its life, that is nothing but a lifetime, right? Scope in the sense till what what block or what place it is visible, that is a scope, right? So lifetime in the sense when it will be created and when it will be destroyed, that is nothing but a lifetime, right? So I don't think you can directly understand if I display the some points which I have written. So let me give you a small description first, then I'll go to a points, right? So what we are talking is, we are talking about the scope of the variables, right? So let us assume that you have some program written. Question in a chat box. Scope is a temporary and a lifetime is a permanent. Both are different. Don't try to relate to that one. Scope is a different, lifetime is a different. Instead of writing a complete public static void main, I'll just write this particular shortcut, public static void main. Don't write these kind of shortcuts anywhere, right? You just assume that there is a string argument written, and don't try to execute a program like this only. It will show you so many errors, right? If it got some legs, it may try to kick you also if you are writing like this, right? I have just quoted some shortcut. Okay. Now scope and a lifetime. Say for example, I am declaring variable a here, right? So now can I say that this particular a will be visible within these particular braces from here till here, right? So now what I'm saying is I have declared a variable a after a main, right? So this opening and a closing of this particular curly braces is nothing but scope of a main. Scope in the sense that is the area where exactly you will be calling it as a main function, right? So within that area, if you are declaring any variable, then its scope will be in that curly braces. I hope you are able to understand what I'm saying, right? So now within this particular scope, that means from this particular opening curly brace till this particular closing curly brace, within this particular place, anywhere you can use variable a. Am I making a sense? Right? So this is nothing but its scope. This area, whichever has been highlighted, that is nothing but the scope of a variable a. Right? So now when now if we want to talk about a lifetime, right? So lifetime, we said that it says when a variable will be created and when it will be destroyed. That is nothing but a lifetime. Correct? When a variable will be created, right? So right after this particular statement, variable will be created. Hope you are getting. You are declaring int a. After executing this one only, you will be having a variable a, right? So what I'm saying is, right after that particular declaration, the lifetime of a variable will start. When it will close, when it will end, right after finishing its scope. Be clear with the statements. Right after finishing its scope, now at this place, can I access a variable a saying that assign a sum 10 to it? Can't be done because it is out of a scope of your program. Question in a chat box. It means from a starting point of a first opening bracket up to the second closing is the scope of A. Yeah, that is right. Okay, so scope is nothing but the area or the place from where that variable, within that particular place where the variable can be accessed is the scope. Okay, so lifetime is nothing but where you are creating from that point till where it has been destroyed, right? So where it is not available, that is nothing but a lifetime. Okay, so now within this particular curly brace, opening and closing of a curly brace, I can have the scope of this particular variable a. Can you explain once? What I need to explain, scope or a lifetime? Garimajan, you have only answered that particular part. Lifetime you want me to explain. Lifetime is nothing but the point where it has got its life and the point where it has lost its life. That is nothing but a lifetime. Where it has got a life after explaining this particular, means after executing this particular statement, it has got the life, right? So that is the start of its lifetime, right? Where it has lost its life after finishing its scope, that means where its scope has been finished after this curly brace, after finishing its scope, its life has gone, right? So this is nothing but a lifetime of a variable. You will not be asked any twisty questions on this one. Just for understanding, so means if someone has to explain the position of a variable, this particular things will be useful, right? Scope is nothing but this point, curly braces, opening and closing curly braces, scope, right? Where the variable is existing, that is a scope. Lifetime is a point from where it has been created from till the point where it has been destroyed, where it will be destroyed after losing its scope, right? Now within this particular program, I can have a statement something like this. This is Java. You can have a if followed by true. True is a Boolean data type which will be supported by a Java, right? So what is you are saying, what you are saying now, if you have a true condition, right? If true, right? I'm not substituting any variable there, just writing a true directly. Okay, I will say that int x. Am I creating another variable now, right? So what will be a scope of this particular x? These curly braces will be the scope of this particular x, right? Can I access that particular x outside of this curly braces? No, you cannot, because already its lifetime has been finished. You came out of this particular scope of a x, so it's gone. Are you able to understand what is a scope, what is a lifetime? Shall we see the points? You have all the stuff in a Java. There is a question in the chat box that I'm answering. You have a static variables. Yes, question was there in the chat box, so I'm telling. You have a static variables, you have a global variables also, but for a time being, don't bother about those things. You have a topics that we'll be discussing with respect to that. For a time being, just concentrate on a two terminologies or a two terms, what I said, scope and a lifetime, right? So then how this particular scope will change for a global variable, how this particular scope will change for a static variable, then that will be another topic. Okay, so for a time being, just concentrate what is a scope, what is a lifetime, how this is going to change for a static variables, then we will discuss when we will be discussing a static part, right? Hope no questions. Shall we proceed with the points? Right. Huh. Scope. A block defines a scope. Thus, each time you start a new block, you are creating a new scope. Block specifies in the sense that curly braces only. That curly braces only will tell like this is the opening and this is the closing. And they are telling like opening and the closing is these particular references, then obviously it is a block. Okay. A scope determines what objects are visible to other parts of a program. It also determines the lifetime of those objects, right? So we have not seen objects, so I have taken example of a variable. Once we see what are the objects, then you can easily substitute or easily understand this particular statement. For a time being, just keep in mind that objects are similar to a variables, just try to relate, right? So scope determines what variables, now I am just substituting objects with the variables just for understanding. Okay, a scope determines what variables are visible to other parts of your program. That means once you have declared some variable x in a if statement, that will be available. That means its scope is restricted to only if statement. It cannot be available out of that particular statement. So obviously that particular scope only told us that x cannot be accessed outside, right? It also determines the lifetime of those particular objects, and we have said that once you come out of that particular closing bracket, lifetime of x will not be there. Hope this particular statement made some sense and you can try to relate. See, without explaining you that particular simple example on a notepad, if I directly tried showing you a point and told you to imagine, I don't know what you might have imagined. That was the only reason why I was shown an example in a notepad and then displaying the points. Right. Now take some time to go through this particular program and analyze. At every point, the comment has been written. Hope. See, why I'll give you some time for something to analyze is, if you put your brain, then there will be so many questions in your brain which will come outside, so you can ask questions better. If I just try to explain line by line, then you will be just in a listening mode. Listening mode will not ask any questions. Analyzed. Int x has been created here. That means after a main you are creating x. I'm just telling you, like I'm just giving example how you need to analyze the particular program. Okay, so we are discussing a scope and a lifetime, so we need to be careful with respect to its creation and a destruction, right? So that is our concept. Opening of a main function has been started. There you have a int x. That means once you have this particular x after a main, then it will be available till you close the main, right? So now I can put x into 10. Yes, can be done because you have a x with you. Okay, if x is equal to 10, whether this condition is true, yes, obviously it is a true because you have assigned a x just now with a value 10. Yes, when it is a true, it is going to create another variable int y is equal to 20. I think you know that if you are writing a condition, after writing a condition, if you are not writing a parenthesis, then it will be considering only the first statement, right? So y equal to 20 will be known only to this block, where it has started, where it has ended. It has started just before a int, and after this particular semicolon it has been closed. Right? So system.out.println x, y, whatever is the value of x and whatever is the value of y. For printing, no problem, it can be done. No, we have opened a if statement here. Okay, if statement, if it has opened here, then its scope will be available for this particular operation also. X is equal to y into 2. Right? So this is a block of a if statement. I didn't see this particular bracket. Okay, so the scope for a if means the scope for a variable y will be from this particular opening bracket till this particular closing bracket. So I can access a y, so y into 2, this is nothing but the new value of x. What is the value you have put into a y? That is a 20 into 2. Now it will be having a 40 in it. Once you close this particular bracket, then the scope of a y will be gone. So here at this particular point, you will be saying an error saying that y not known here, because its scope has been finished within this particular bracket. Right? So but still x is unknown here because it is a part of your main function. So main function has been closed here. So till this particular point you can have a value of x. Hope I made some sense and the program was clear. No confusions in understanding a scope and a lifetime of some variable. Shall we proceed? Clear with the program? Yes. If one person acknowledges means I will proceed, because few people are feeling shy to ask questions also. What to do then? Can you explain the first system.out.print statement? Yes. Which is the first system? This one. System.out.println x and y, double quotes, putting a value of x, attaching some space. So this is nothing but just adding some space in between those two things. I think this was your question. This will not put a double quote on output
Yes,
statement.
sir.
Yeah, this will just introduce some space between this x and y.
Okay.
Okay, so it will display something like first x value will be printed. There will be one space printed. After the space, it will be printing a y for you.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so if you are simply writing plus x plus y, then it will be like attaching both the values. There will not be any space. So for introducing a space, they have given us some empty double quotes.
So, if we only give space, like between x plus and plus y,
X plus,
and plus y.
yeah, can be done, no problem.
Okay, sir.
Within a double quote, you can introduce a space, no problem. See here, he has introduced some space, then he has finished a double quote, right? So within a double quote, if you are introducing a space, no problem. But here, it is not a normal statement, rather you want a substitution to be done. Okay, so first x value will be printed, gives us some space, then a y value will be printed. We might have taken this variation in yesterday's class, but we didn't got that particular idea in mind. This is one more variation for printing a statement. Few more question. Sir, tell me about why not known yet. Not known. It is not a not known yet. It is not known here. This particular statement, right? Why not known here? That means y has been declared in the scope of a if statement. If statement has been opened here and it has been closed here. After coming out of a if statement, if you are trying to access a y means it will not be available for you. Few more questions in the chat box. Very good, very good. You have to ask the questions. There is only X and a Y double quote, so it is only print this one. Ruby Kumari, were you clear with the explanation whatever I gave for a first system.out.println statement? Tarun, please post a question to everyone so they will understand that. Y is equal to 20. Unknown only to this block means what, sir? It is known only to this block. That means you are writing int y is equal to 20. This particular y is equal to 20 will be available only within this particular block. That means known only to this block. This block means which block? The block of a if statement. This particular y will be available, can be accessed, can be used only in this particular block. That means within this particular if statements block, you can have a y. Okay. Right. I have seen another example. Okay. So variables are created when their scope is entered and destroyed when their scope is left. Right. So this I told you already. Here is one more example for just understanding of that particular part. You can analyze that one by yourself. Question. Again, I'm telling you, please post the questions to everyone. If you are sending privately, others will not know what I am explaining about. Sir, output will be X and Y colon 30 space 20, or there will be any space between a semicolon. There will be a space after the colon, X and Y colon space 30 space 20. Question from a Pushpa R. Sir, for X, Y it is a single equal and for Y it is a double equal. Where that has been done? Where for Y double equals? Which line? This is assignment. This is checking a condition. When you are checking a condition, you will be writing a double equals. This is a single equal. This is not a double equal. We are assigning a 20 into Y. This is a single equal. This is also single equals. This is also single equals. These are assignments assigning a value. This is a double equal where you are checking a condition. Did I answer your question? Yes. Okay. So with respect to a scope and variables, you have one more example here. If you are comfortable with the for loop, can you just analyze and check what might be the output of this particular program? I'll give you a hint, so means not to get different answers. One thing I'll tell you, for loop has been started here, its scope has started here and it has ended here. That means all the statements are a part of a for loop only. Okay, you are writing a for loop to start from a 0 till 3, not including a 3. So this loop will be run thrice, for a 0th iteration, for a 1th iteration, for a 2nd iteration. For a 3rd condition will be false, it will come out of the loop, right? So this particular loop will be repeated thrice. So analyze the statements and put the expected answer in a chat box, right? So now after seeing answers, there might be some smile on your face and some confidence, like I understood whatever was there with respect to Java program. That is very important, because if I was just explained that particular program, you might have easily related what was the output, right? So if you analyze and write something, and if that is a matching exactly, then that energy will be a different itself.